Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech. You know, right now, we're in the middle of something absolutely massive. And I'm not just talking about another new phone or software update. The very ground beneath the entire tech industry is shifting, and it's all being driven by one single force, AI. Let's dig into this tectonic shift.
So to really get a sense of the scale here, let's just start with a number. $135 billion. That is the jaw-dropping new valuation of OpenAI, thanks to a huge new agreement with Microsoft. Look, this isn't just another business deal. It's like a giant anchor being dropped, setting the stage for this new world that's being built right before our eyes.
So to make sense of all this chaos, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we're going to look at the new AI establishment that's being created by these giant deals. Then, we'll dive into the drama of high-stakes leadership. After that, we'll cover the industry shockwaves that are hitting, well, pretty much everyone. And finally, we'll talk about what it all means for building the future.
All right, first up, the new AI establishment. You've got the biggest names in tech making these unbelievably bold bets, basically trying to pour the concrete foundation for our AI-powered future. They're playing to win for the next decade and beyond.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Listen to how analysts are talking about this. When someone calls OpenAI one of the most significant companies of our decade, that tells you everything you need to know about why Microsoft felt this deal was absolutely crucial. This is way more than a partnership. It's about securing the keys to the engine that's going to drive all their future growth.
And check this out, because these two deals show you the two sides of this new establishment perfectly. On the one hand, you have Microsoft pumping billions into securing the actual foundational AI technology, the brain, if you will. But then you have Nvidia investing in Nokia, not for their AI, but for their network. It's a way to get Nvidia's AI tech into millions of cell towers and base stations around the world. So together, you're seeing a massive power play to control both the creation of AI and how it gets delivered to everyone. Okay, but these huge tech shifts, they don't just happen because of servers and code. They are almost always driven by single, powerful, and sometimes controversial leaders. And that brings us to the very human, high-stakes drama happening right in the middle of all this.
Which leads us to a really tricky question. In an era where one leader's vision can literally create or destroy trillions of dollars in value, what is that person actually worth? Well, Tesla shareholders are being asked to answer that exact question right now.
Because this is the number at the center of the entire debate. $1 trillion. That's the potential value of a pay package for Elon Musk. Now, that's only if he hits a series of incredibly audacious goals, but still, the number is almost impossible to wrap your head around, and it just shows you the mind-boggling stakes involved.
Now, the board's reasoning here is pretty wild. They're basically saying, hey, this isn't really about the money. They claim it's all about making sure Musk stays in control and has the voting power he needs over the next decade, especially as he talks about building an army of robots. But for a lot of shareholders, the concern is a little more straightforward. They're looking at the enormous potential payout and thinking about how much it's going to water down the value of their own shares.
And this quote from Tesla's chair, Robin Denholm, really just says it all, doesn't it? It gets right to the core of their argument. It's this fundamental belief that Elon Musk is a one-of-a-kind, completely irreplaceable force. And in their minds, whatever the cost, whatever the controversy, he's the only one who can lead the company where it needs to go.
Okay, so when giants like Microsoft and Nvidia make these huge moves, it sends shockwaves through the entire system. The ground literally shifts under everyone's feet, and that creates both a ton of pressure for some and brand new openings for others. We are watching the whole industry reconfigure itself in real time.
And the pace is just dizzying. You've got PayPal teaming up with OpenAI to let you shop inside ChatGPT. Amazon is laying off thousands of corporate employees, pointing to AI-driven efficiencies. Meta is literally taking its top metaverse guy and putting him in charge of AI products. And Adobe is scrambling to weave generative AI into everything it makes. Everyone is reacting, and they're reacting fast.
But here's the really interesting part. This kind of massive disruption isn't just a story about the big guys getting bigger. Anytime the ground shifts this violently, cracks start to appear. And it's from those cracks that new, hungry challengers can pop up, often going after the very foundations the giants are standing on.
So to understand this next part, we need a quick 30-second lesson on something called photolithography. I know, it sounds super technical, but the idea is actually simple. It's basically the process of using light to print these incredibly complex patterns onto silicon, and it's how all modern computer chips are made.
The whole thing is dominated by just one or two companies in the world, making it a huge bottleneck.
And that's what makes this next bit so wild. A super stealthy startup called Substrate just came out of nowhere, and they're claiming to have a completely new way of doing this. And listen to their CEO, James Proud. He's saying their goal isn't just to build a better machine. They want to rethink the entire idea of what a chip factory even is, from scratch right here in the US. That is some serious ambition. Okay, so let's take a step back. When you put all these pieces together, the billion-dollar deals, the trillion-dollar pay packages, the industry-wide shakeups, and these gutsy new startups, a very clear picture starts to emerge. We're not in the app phase of AI yet. Oh no. We are deep in the messy, expensive, foundational infrastructure phase.
One analyst laid out this 4-step roadmap, and it just perfectly explains everything we're seeing. Right now, we are smack dab in the middle of steps 1 and 2. Companies are spending insane amounts of money on data centers and chips, and they're building out the network. This is like a 2 to 3 year construction project. It's only after this foundation is built that we get to steps 3 and 4, where AI gets rolled out everywhere and companies start to really make money from it. We're still in the early innings.
So this leaves us with one final, and I think very important question. Everything we've talked about today, from Microsoft and OpenAI to Tesla and this little startup Substrate, it's all part of this incredible, high-stakes battle to control the foundational layer of our next great technological age. So as this new foundation is being laid, brick by expensive brick, the real question is, who is going to end up owning the blueprints? If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.